This is Roger, Low Vision Product Manager here at HumanWare. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with the Prodigy for Windows software. Now, it does come with many different hardware configurations, but regardless of that configuration, the software activation will follow one of two paths. So I'm going to just start off with an example from our website here. I'm on the starter kit page, which includes the software and a document camera. And if I were in our store coming down to make a purchase, the first thing you'll notice is that we require you to input an email for the person that's going to use the software. This person will receive the email when the software is purchased so that they can activate and use that software with their email address being their username, and they will be prompted to create a password. So one methodology for the individual is that the email will come directly from us to their email address. If I continue scrolling down, however, there is a multi-seat licensing option available as well. In these instances, an organization such as a school might purchase, say, 10 seats of software to meet the needs of 10 different students. In that case, they will name an administrator who will receive an email, start up their account, and then he or she will use emails to invite the students to use of the software. And I will show you the emails that will be arriving in each of those cases. So allow me to skip over to my Gmail account here, and I'll show you those two emails. At the top of the list, download and install your new Prodigy for Windows software. This is the email that an individual user would receive. Let's open that up. I'll scroll down a little bit here and you will see we're welcome to Prodigy, download and install your software. The instructions are 4 steps in total. The first is to download the software, which we will do in just a few moments. Second is to run the installation of that software after you've downloaded it. And then third, and importantly, is how you get it activated and fully running on your system. So there will be on-screen instructions, and you will be presented with an activate button. In the case of an individual, you will choose the activation key method, and you will need to have the email address that this email came to, as well as possibly this activation key that you see in the box here. I am going to go ahead and copy that right now. You may need to use that to paste in when you go to do your activation. You'll click a submit button. You'll be prompted to create a password and so forth. And then you will basically drop right into the rest of the installation of the software. Now recall, you will only need to do this once. So if you want to install on other machines, once you've done this one time, you will be considered an existing user. At the bottom, step 4, start using your software, and of course a link to our support page where our user guide, quick start guide, access to videos such as this one, all of those things exist there on the support page. So again, this is the email for an individual user that has an email address and an activation key. I'll come back out to the main page of my email box here. And then recall there was that second possibility within an organization where a person within the organization is inviting students or other individuals within the organization to use the software. And that's what this email highlights. I'll click that one and open it up. And here you'll say it's a little bit different. It says account setup, install your software. And down below, you'll see that Roger Steinberg has invited you to create an account with Roger's School. So again, it's an invitation type of thing. Starts off similar. You download the software. Again, we'll do that in just a moment. You run the installer, and then there's the steps to finish the installation and activation. And as you come down here again, in the case of this email, you'll click that activate button. You'll see it in just a few moments. But then you'll choose the invitation pathway, and that will take you through creation of your username and password. And then the installation will continue on, and you will start using the software, and you can return to the support page again down there at the bottom to use that. Like here again, you would only go through this one time. If you wanted to use the software on another device, you would, after you've done this, be considered an existing user, and you would have a username and password that you'll want to remember. You can use that to activate onto other systems at that point in time. I'm going to come back up here. Again, remember both emails had this download Prodigy for Windows link. I'll use this email to do that now. First thing that happens is a download box opens in my browser. And based upon your browser security settings, you might receive this message. So always be aware that this could come up. Because you're downloading an installable, sometimes that could be a virus, and so you're being protected from that. But in this case, you know you got it from us, so you're going to choose to keep that download, and it will complete itself. Then you can either open the file from here or navigate to the folder where you know that you downloaded it. I've navigated to my downloads folder, and here I see the installer. I'll double click as the instructions in the email said to, and the installation will start. To the left, launch when ready is checked. So that means after we get done with all the installation, Prodigy will go ahead and start up. But before we get to that, we need to go ahead and do the install. So I'm going to click install to start that process. The first screen that comes up is terms and conditions, and you must either read through them or scroll through them to the end before you can accept them and continue with the installation and activation. Important to note, this is the step that was notated in the email. You're going to be choosing activate in this case, but it's important to note again that every install starts as a trial. And the trial is typically 14 days. I've been doing some testing for about 3 days now, so I'm down to 11 days on my trial on this system. But I could continue to use a trial for up to 14 days before I actually have to activate. I would always recommend that with that email in hand, you go ahead and complete that activation process right now. Of course, at the bottom, there is a contact us link as well as a purchase link if you were in fact a full trial user and you did not have one of those emails that I've already showed you. But recall, we were told in the emails in both instances to click on activate. And in the case of the individual user, I had an activation key. So I was instructed to use the activation key option here. We'll click that and recall that I had to put in the exact email address that that email was sent to. And there is a paste button here. So if I've copied it, I can directly paste in the link to finish that activation. You'll see that once I put that in there, everything went active. Up at the right here is my submit button. Get used to that. That's the common feature of the Prodigy software. So let's submit this. And this will bring you to an account activation page. Notice that it has pre-filled your email address. And it reminds you it must match the email. Again, it did because that activation key also carried over. And on this page, the important thing now is we're going to create a password to go with my email address, which will become my username. So let's enter one now. Once I've entered it correctly in both boxes and they match, again, pay special attention here. They must have an upper and lower case, a number or digit, and a special character like an exclamation point. I can scroll to the bottom. My activate button to the right will become active, and I can click on that to complete the activation process. And this will kick me right into the remainder of the installer, which we will cover in just a few moments here. The other activation method was to use an invitation. So let's show that. You'll click activate, you'll click invitation, and here, in this case, you will put in the email exactly as it was sent to you from your administrator at your organization. When you hit the submit button here, you will be taken directly to a page just like the one we saw a few moments ago for the individual. You will create your password and then continue on with the installation. So your username will be your email address and you'll have a password that's associated with it. I'm going to click the back button here and come back out. So again, invitation is from an organizational level user. So you're a student or an employee or someone who's receiving an invite from someone in your organization to use Prodigy. And an activation key is for an individual. You will do this process only one time. And once you've done that one time, if you install onto another machine, you will be able to use existing account to complete the activation. But you'll now have a username and password combination that you can utilize. But once you've created that password and continue on, the installation process will look and continue on exactly the same. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate from that point forward now. After I've completed that process of creating a username and password, the installation continues on as we're seeing now. So I'm just going to let that go. Process takes about 3 minutes in total. What you saw happening was the magnification app, the distance app, the files app, the books app all downloading. Prodigy restarted itself. Then we downloaded some OCR and installed that, downloaded text to speech and OCR samples and installed both of those. So again, it took about 3 minutes to get through that process there. I sped it up for the sake of our video. So the next step, once all that installation takes place, is to choose the languages that you want to use on your system. You can choose up to 4. For the sake of brevity in this video, I'm only going to choose one right now. I'll click on English down here, and I'll choose Darius at the top of the list there, though I can scroll down to choose any number of languages within each that are available. As soon as I choose one, a check will appear to the right of that name, and the submit button in the upper right will become active. I'll tap that now and only download and install one voice.
Menu 3 items on.
Downloading, installing Darius, a single voice only, took about 10 seconds, 12 seconds. So you can extend that out if you did multiple at any given time. You can, of course, add more later if you would like. The next step is to choose the speech settings that you would like to have in use of Prodigy. At the top of the list is on. If I leave the speech settings set to on, that means that anything in my interface is going to be read aloud to me by Prodigy when I'm using it. The second option is documents only. In that case, it's when I capture or import documents, the only thing that Prodigy will read are those particular items. And then the last is to have speech turned off altogether if I don't need that level of support. I'll use my arrow key.
Documents only.
And you hear how it's reading right there?
Off. Documents only.
So the way that he's reading everything right now, that's what happens when you have it set to on. Everything is red. I'm going to set my system to documents only, just for the sake of presentation purposes. I'll tap
Documents
that.
only. Checked.
It's checked now. After this, you won't hear Darius again unless I capture and have a document read. In the upper right, I can submit my choice. And then the next is to opt in to share usage data with us. We certainly hope that everyone will choose yes to share in some data. It's all anonymized, but what it does is show us what tools you're using and that sort of thing, so we know where to spend our time in development and that type of stuff. If you want more details on that, click the details at the bottom. I'm going to click yes. It's checked now. Notice Darius didn't speak there because I said documents only a moment ago, and I'll submit that request. We're now in the Prodigy software. So all of the initial installation is done. There is one final step that you should really take care of immediately, and that is going ahead and getting your magnifier set up. And the way that we do that is you have a connected camera, be it a hover cam, document camera, or another camera that you want to use for magnifying and looking at documents. You'll need to have that connected up. So I'll get you that first step, and then you can continue on with other steps and other videos to learn more about Prodigy from there. Let's tap on the magnifier icon we see on the screen here. It's opening up, it's an individual app, much like you would have in Microsoft, where you open Word or Excel as different applications. So the first time you open it, it takes a couple of moments to fire up. Now you can see a list of all of my connected cameras that I might choose from to use for magnification purposes. The HoverCam Solo 8 Plus is the one that's included with all of our configurations, and it's with that starter kit that I showed at the very outset of this meeting. So I will select that camera, and here I'm being prompted. I am going to allow magnifier to access my camera. We'll click yes there. and it's come online now and it's live. My magnifier is now working, and there we go. So I can begin to use in the bottom right, zoom in and zoom out. On my screen, I can use pinch and zoom with a touch screen, and do other things like that. Check out the other videos to learn more about how to use the magnifier and other tools in Prodigy. But at this point, you're up and ready to go with your Prodigy software. Thank you for watching. As always, in the beginning of the description for this video, click on that feedback link and tell us how we're doing. It's the only way that we can continue to improve is through your input into how we develop the software and what's working and not working for you. Thanks again.